life.
Check who I am first.
In the heart of Oak Ridge County Courthouse, nestled in the bustling suburbs of a Midwestern American town much like those in Ohio or Illinois, where folks gathered for everything from traffic tickets to heated divorce hearings, Officer Frank Mitchell delivered a sharp slap across Dr. Evelyn Harper's face. The sound echoed like a crack of thunder in the otherwise silent courtroom, drawing gasps from the scattered spectators. Blood trickled from her split lip as she staggered back, but she didn't cry out. Mitchell loomed over her, his uniform crisp and authoritative, his partner, Officer Tom Carter, smirking from the sidelines with a hand resting casually on his holster. "Women like you need to learn some manners," Mitchell snarled, just loud enough for the front rows to hear. Judge Elias Whitaker glanced up from his bench, shrugged indifferently, and buried his nose back in his paperwork. No one intervened. No one dared. But what if the person they humiliated held the key to dismantling their world of unchecked power? What if she wasn't just another face in the crowd? Dr. Evelyn Harper, a distinguished civil rights lawyer with a doctorate in law from a prestigious Ivy League school, had arrived at the Oak Ridge County Courthouse that crisp autumn morning in everyday clothes, a pair of faded jeans, and a simple sweater. She was there to contest a minor speeding ticket, nothing out of the ordinary for a busy professional juggling court appearances and community advocacy. Little did the courthouse staff know, Evelyn was also the governor's top pick for a new judicial seat, a role that would put her in charge of overseeing reforms in the very system that had long favored the privileged. The lobby hummed with the familiar rhythm of American small-town justice. Retirees chatting with clerks about parking fines, young parents wrangling kids during custody disputes, and the occasional lawyer in a sharp suit cutting the line. As Evelyn approached the clerk's window, she slid her paperwork across the counter. "Speeding citation, case number 45C, she said politely. Clerk Robert Hayes barely lifted his eyes from his computer screen, shoving a form back at her. "Fill it out. It's not rocket science." When she asked for clarification on a confusing section, he sighed dramatically. "Just read it, lady. We don't have all day." Yet, moments later, when a white businessman in a tailored jacket stepped up to the next window, Hayes stood up with a warm smile. "Let me walk you through this, sir. Insurance info goes here, and take your time with the details, no rush." Evelyn caught the disparity, a subtle but stinging reminder of the biases woven into everyday interactions. From across the room, Officers Mitchell and Carter watched her, exchanging whispers and chuckles. She knew that look all too well, a dismissive gaze reserved for those deemed unworthy of equal respect. Inside the courtroom, Evelyn took a seat in the gallery to observe before her case was called. The proceedings unfolded like a predictable script from countless American courtrooms. A college kid from the suburbs got a slap on the wrist for reckless driving, while a Hispanic construction worker faced the maximum fine for a similar offense. A local entrepreneur had his embezzlement charges dropped after a whispered sidebar with Judge Whitaker. When Evelyn's turn came, she approached the bench with confidence, holding a folder of evidence. "Your Honor, the ticket alleges I was going 20 miles per hour over on Elm Street last Wednesday at noon. But my GPS logs and work emails confirm I was in a virtual meeting at my office during that time." Before she could elaborate, Officer Mitchell interrupted. "I remember her clearly. She was mouthy then, and she's being mouthy now." Judge Whitaker skimmed her documents with bored eyes. "The officer's word stands. Pay up or get a lawyer." Evelyn clenched her jaw as Mitchell shot Carter a triumphant grin. The room remained oblivious to the storm brewing. During a brief recess, Evelyn followed Mitchell into the hallway, discreetly starting the voice recorder on her phone. "Officer Mitchell, I'd like to discuss the inaccuracy in your report," she said evenly. He wheeled around, using his bulk to intimidate. "Listen, I issue tickets all day. You're nothing special." She pressed on. "The time and location don't match my records, perhaps a plate mix-up?" His partner, Carter, joined in, crowding her space. "You calling him a liar? That's bold." Evelyn held her ground. "I'm stating facts." They laughed it off. "Your word against mine, and guess who wins?" A passing security guard, Officer Lena Brooks, noticed but hesitated when Mitchell glared at her. "Not my problem," she muttered, hurrying away. "See? No one cares," Mitchell sneered. As they walked off, Carter muttered loudly enough for her to hear. These types always think they're above the law. Back in the courtroom, whispers spread. Mitchell and Carter huddled with Judge Whitaker during another break, casting glances her way. When proceedings resumed, Whitaker recalled her case with a sharper tone. "Miss Harper, I've heard you harassed Officer Mitchell in the hall with wild accusations." The room hushed. "Your Honor, I was seeking clarification," she replied. "Enough." Whitaker banged his gavel. "That's contempt. And recording without permission? Bailiff, seize that phone." As the bailiff grabbed it, Evelyn protested the illegal search, but Whitaker ignored her. "Apologize to the officer or face charges." She refused. "I stand by the truth." "One night in lockup for contempt," he declared. Mitchell grabbed her arm roughly, and when she winced, he slapped her hard. "Resisting," he yelled. The courtroom stirred uneasily, but no one spoke up. Whitaker added the charge without a glance. "Should have just paid," Mitchell whispered as he dragged her away. In the dingy holding cell, smelling of stale coffee and despair, Evelyn sat composed, her mind racing through legal precedents. This wasn't her first encounter with injustice, but now it was personal. She touched her swelling cheek, plotting her next moves. When intake officer Paula Grant passed by, she offered medical help, but Evelyn requested her phone call instead. Dialing her assistant, Maria, she whispered instructions. "Contact Governor Lawson now. Tell him I've seen the rot in Oak Ridge Court firsthand. Alert the State Ethics Board about Whitaker, Mitchell, and Carter. And tip off Lisa at the Daily Herald v. Got a bombshell." Grant, overhearing snippets, looked uneasy. "You sure about this? Whitaker and Mitchell are tight, complaints vanish." Evelyn nodded. "File my assault report anyway. Badge number, please." Released hours later after the governor's intervention, Evelyn didn't waste time. The next morning, Judge Whitaker found a summons from the State Judicial Oversight Committee on his desk, citing misconduct in her case. He called Mitchell in a panic. "What did you do?" Mitchell brushed it off. "Just some pushy woman we've dealt with worse." But when Whitaker revealed her identity as the governor's judicial nominee, silence fell. In Governor Lawson's office, Evelyn, bruise prominent, laid out her evidence. "This isn't isolated. I've tracked similar cases for years." Lawson paced. "That's why I chose you. The phone recording is gold." By noon, Whitaker was suspended, and Internal Affairs raided the precinct. The Daily Herald's front-page story exploded. Judicial nominee assaulted in courtroom exposes deep-seated bias. Evelyn's photo, bruised stark, went viral, sparking fairness for Evelyn nationwide. Social media buzzed with shared stories of courtroom injustices, from over-sentenced minorities to ignored police brutality. At the precinct, Captain Derek Simmons grilled Mitchell and Carter over the assault photo and recording. "You treat no one like that," he thundered. Mitchell paled. "We didn't know who she was." "That's the issue. You shouldn't need to." Evelyn presented her dossier to the Ethics Committee. Transcripts showing racial sentencing gaps, witness statements on backroom deals. "This is systemic," she argued. The chair, Justice Maria Ruiz, nodded gravely. "How long have you documented this?" "For years, defending clients here." Whitaker, watching the news from home, fumed as his attorney warned of an audit spanning a decade. Mitchell and Carter drowned their worries at a local bar. "It'll blow over," Mitchell insisted. Carter shook his head. "She's gunning for the whole system." The Oversight Board subpoenaed records, footage revealing shredded documents in a desperate cover-up. Evelyn appeared on national TV, bruise fading but resolve strong. "This happens daily to those without my platform." The interview ignited debates. Some called it entrapment, others hailed it as necessary exposure. Governor Lawson held a press conference, appointing Evelyn as Superior Court judge and head of the new Accountability Task Force. He revealed her courthouse visit was an undercover probe into complaints. The revelation stunned the nation. Mitchell dropped his remote. "She played us." Carter sighed. "No, we played ourselves." Immediate reforms rolled out. Courtroom cameras with public access, bias training, independent sentencing reviews. Evelyn oversaw Whitaker's docket, reopening biased cases. A hotline flooded with 600 calls in a week, stories of ruined lives, sparking heated discussions on talk radio about race and justice. Was the system redeemable or inherently flawed? Protesters outside the courthouse demanded change, clashing with counter-protesters defending law and order. Investigations widened. uncovering financial ties. Whitaker dismissed tickets for donors. Mitchell targeted minorities for quotas. The Attorney General impaneled a grand jury. Whitaker faced 15 misconduct counts, negotiating immunity by implicating others. It was keeping order, he testified weekly. Mitchell and Carter were suspended. The union wavered as testimonies piled up. Evelyn's team expanded, volunteers sifting files, media dissecting implications. Commissioner Bryant admitted to oversight failures before a board. Insulation bred corruption. Reforms took root. Anonymous whistleblower lines, data dashboards tracking disparities. Sentencing gaps dropped 45% in months. Officer Grant, promoted to lead a conduct unit, faced backlash but stood tall. Badges protect people, not each other. Whitaker's home arrest didn't shield him from expanded probes into kickbacks. Evelyn briefed the state Supreme Court. Interconnected biases across counties. Phase 2, statewide overhaul, mandatory VR bias simulations, community boards. Victim statements moved her mothers separated from sons over minor offenses, careers derailed. She met them personally. The system failed. We're fixing it. Resistance mounted. Threats, lawsuits from conservative groups claiming anti-police bias. Allies emerged, veteran cops exposing rot, retirees confessing regrets. Patterns linked to corporate favors. Environmental fines waived for contributors. Follow the money, Evelyn directed, unraveling ties to City Hall. National spotlight grew. The Harper Framework inspired symposia, law curricula updates. 6 months in, data showed consistent sentencing, resolved complaints. Culture change is hard, she told her team, but essential. 3 months later, in the same courtroom, Evelyn presided over Mitchell's hearing. Handcuffed, he faced assault, perjury, rights violations. Footage showed his patterns. Colleagues testified to intimidation culture. I thought the badge made me untouchable, he admitted. Evelyn ruled. 6 years prison, credential revocation, community service in affected areas. Whitaker followed. Disbarment. 18 years for corruption, restitution. Your actions harmed hundreds, she declared. Accountability heals. Reynolds, now Carter in plea deal, testified. It was normalized, judges signaled who to target. Whitaker implicated peers. We managed communities through fear. Protesters celebrated. Debates raged on punishment severity versus reform needs. 1 year on, the renamed Liberty Justice Center boasted transparent ops, diverse staff. Stats. Disparities down 52%, trust up in polls. Governor Lawson hosted a multi-state conference. Harper's model is transformative. She presented graphs. Reform demands vigilance. Training evolved. Simulations, reviews. Grant's unit became national model. Carter lectured cadets. Trust over power. 5 years later, Evelyn prepared to step down for a Supreme Court seat. Her successor, Judge Malik Thompson, a former public defender from her old neighborhood, toured the revamped building. Info boards, volunteer desks. Your assault changed me, he said. Showed systems can evolve. Outside, Mitchell, post-sentence, nodded from Afra's silent acknowledgement. At her farewell, speakers lauded. She redefined justice. Evelyn spoke. I endured what many do silently. Change starts with refusal. The reforms endured, adopted by 15 states, curricula standard. Evelyn's legacy, equitable courts, restored faith. Justice, she proved, thrives on accountability. What do you think about the themes of violence and injustice in everyday life? Share your opinions in the comments below. Do you believe systemic change is possible, or are these issues too entrenched? Take a stand and let us know your perspective.